We're finally here, gamers. Now, unless I ended up making a mistake, you know, which is very highly likely considering there's so many different classes in this game, and I've done thousands of videos on Trove, but so help me, I'm fairly confident, I'll have to double check my videos, that this is gonna be the final of the Leviathan videos just before the new year. Thank goodness. I actually miscalculated. I thought today was the last day before going into New Year's. I don't know why. I didn't look at my calendar or anything like that, and so I timed everything accordingly to sync up with today being the last day of the Leviathan videos. Anyways, for those of you that don't know, this entire series has been quite an ordeal for me. Anything that has to do with class tutorials and so on and so forth usually is, because when you think about it, that's what is there, like 18 classes in the game or something like that? So that is a lot of videos. That's more than half of a month worth of daily content already, let alone recording them, editing them, uploading them. Like it's a pretty significant time chunk anytime I want to end up dedicating you know, videos to specific classes, because if I do one of them, it means I gotta do all of them, right? And so I'm fairly proud that we've gotten this Leviathan series done. Essentially throughout this whole series, the goal was to give you guys and gals a realistic depiction of how you would end up fighting a Leviathan as all of the classes in the game, based on very casual parameters. You know, like we're not going super duper hardcore or anything like that, because again, I'm doing videos for every single class. So you gotta consider, you know, I gotta be able to swap all my gems over to all my other characters without being able to min-max every single one of them. And then at the end of the day, I still have my favorite classes that I continually play as outside of these videos, which, you know, is just Shadow Hunter, arguably. But yeah, I'm quite happy with this. So hopefully you guys are as well. And we did end up making it, just barely squeezed by getting this series done for the end of the year. I've got another video coming that's going to talk about my plans going into next year. You know, I don't really have any plans, I can tell you guys right now, to fight U11 Leviathans, because there's just no point. That's just kind of a flex. And I don't think that all of my classes would be strong enough to be able to solo a U11 Leviathan. Only the classes that I actually have like built up and fairly strong. But anyways, with all of that said, let's get into it. So the Chloromancer was one of the strongest boss killers once upon a time. It did end up receiving a nerf. Essentially, there was a trick that you would do where the way that your plants would spawn would be dependent on distance. So you could only spawn like maybe 3 spinners or something like that. And then you move 8 blocks away and you can spawn 8 more or 3 more spinners. It's something like that. Right? And so the meta of using the Chloromancer was basically just plopping down like a bunch of plants moving over a certain amount so that you could plop down even more plants going well above the actual limit. And then they ended up nerfing that, on top of the fact that Chloromancer just got nerfed in general. It doesn't mean that the Chloromancer isn't still a boss killer though. It's actually still very, very able to fight bosses. It's just you're not going to end up being god tier like it was once before. I think it was all on Faye because that was the last video, right? So no, it's not. Okay, well, there's my C4 staff, which has energy regen and movement speed. And then I guess the other headpieces are still on one of the other classes. Yeah, okay, the face. Oh, I have a second staff. Dude, I didn't even know I had a second C4 staff. Okay, so these were the gear. This was the gear that I had on my Chloromancer. So crit damage, attack speed, movement speed, attack speed, movement speed. Now, as I've mentioned before countless times, if you are trying to be absolutely optimal with damage, you're going to end up sacrificing movement speed for that crit damage. It's not that big of a deal if you don't do it, but whatever. I was using a permatorch, which this is not that. I was using Starry Skyfire because of the cooldown reduction, which because of the ultimate of the Chloromancer is the big reason for that. Chromatic Emblem, Arcane Emblem, Death Defying just because I'm lazy, even though again it would be better to be using one of the Era ones. And at least with this class I was using the Solarian subclass ability. I think, yeah, I do still have all of my magic gems on my Chloromancer, so you can pause the video and check them out if you want. I don't use the crystal ring effect because I was just using a standard C4 ring that I had for like, I think Tomb Raiser is the only magic C4 ring that I have. And so I just kind of cycled that across all of my characters, you know? But anyways, to kind of set the stage here, essentially what I ended up doing for the majority of the last few Leviathan videos is I was doing it during a live stream and having you guys help me out to find other Leviathans. And then even then, you gotta understand that in these videos, I was trying to rush the Leviathan and fight it before everybody else showed up. Because oftentimes I'm trying to do a single player solo showcase of damage, even though in most cases, you will not be fighting a Leviathan alone, you know? So anyways, here's the clip. Oh, there we go. Stupid OBS. All right. Excuse me. I'm not going to fight this super duper ideal. I'm not bothering with the stupid Chloromancer thing where I try to get like the plants separate by a certain amount of blocks and all that crap. I'm just gonna do raw damage because honestly they nerfed all that stuff anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, damage is okay. I can clearly see that the damage is coming from the other characters over there. But generally speaking, I know that I'm doing pretty good. Like, Chloro's most definitely not as bad as everybody thinks it is. It's not as great as it once was. And then kind of the thing is, well, you know, what do you want to use this class for over other boss killers? It kind of sucks that there was a bunch of people here, but beggars can't be choosers again, and I don't have the time. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Big thing for me with Chloro is that Chloro is still fairly powerful just because it's kind of one of those classes you can just attack and forget. Thank you, Richard. Aha. I need pots. Get world ID. You know what? I'll just throw an origin portal, whatever. I didn't want to, just because I didn't want other people showing up here, but... Oh, I'm not using my bounder. No! All right. Thanks, Richard. Let's do... Don't you do that! No! Why? Of course he opens with that move. Like, come on. I hate Leviathan so much. All right. We still got our damage. We still got the damage going. He did the thing where he, like, pulls you in, like... And so you can't do anything, you know? Like, he's got his normal spin, which is that one, which... Clearly he glitched out and didn't do his follow-up attack. Yeah, see? Our damage is pretty good. It's not great. But again, like, I think lots of people... Stop. Underestimate the class because of the nerfs that it got. Like, everyone's like, oh my god, because everyone's used to how powerful it was. But it's not bad by any means. And most of all, it's kind of similar to Draco and Tomb Raiser and stuff in that you can just sit here and not do anything. At least that's how I play it. I still don't know if I would use it as a boss killer versus some of the other characters that I find to be more fun. Again, as you can see, the Chloromancer is not god tier powerful anymore, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are not a very powerful class. I wasn't playing super optimal because if I'm gonna be real with you guys, I haven't mained Chloromancer in years. A lot of these characters I kind of just do videos on, but I don't fully main them. And that's why actually these Leviathan videos have been a good wake-up call for me as well, because I like to kind of see where all of the classes are in terms of, you know, their own tier list and stuff like that. Like lots of people, well, not lots of people. Some people tend to disagree with my opinion about like where certain classes fit in the criteria and junk like that. And for the people that are just openly telling me like, oh no, bro, you got no idea. Like I main this character and it's a lot stronger than you think. Okay, cool. You know, I'm open to the discussion. Like Boomeranger, for example, was, I don't know, it was just a class that I did not, like I really underestimated how powerful it was in terms of boss killer. But Boomer mains will still say it's the strongest in terms of a boss killer. And it is if you have a group of people and you're all min-maxed and everything like that, versus the Solarian, which is a lot easier to build and a lot more accessible to fighting bosses. The point that I'm getting at is I like doing these types of videos because it allows me to get my own subjective opinion on where each of the classes stands in terms of power, without biasism. Because that's a big thing that you guys see me always maining the Shadow Hunter, and lots of people are like, oh, what's the best class? And I always say the best class is your favorite class. You know, you want to play the character that you enjoy the most. And I always advocate to people that, that are like, oh, do you main Shadow Hunter because it's the strongest? And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. It's a very powerful character. And I would say one of the all around best characters in each different category. Just not the best in each singular category. You know, it does fast speed farming. It's really good in delves. It's good as boss killer. But most of all, I play the class because it's fun. Excuse me, I'm drooling a lot. I guess I'm just getting really hungry. Just seeing this moth. Just Anyways, I just wanted to have that as the last farewell. I'm not necessarily saying that we won't do more Leviathan videos come into the new year, because hopefully we've got a big update coming to Trove, maybe sometime around March. Usually it's the first 3 months of the year that we end up having the big updates for Trove. And let's be real here, to close off 2023, devs, I know you're not watching, but come on. This was the worst year for Trove. Like, it was the most lackluster garbage updates I have ever seen. Just constant updates that nobody asked for and nobody wanted, like the tax update and everything like that. The only thing that people actually wanted was the Gunslinger rework, and even that this year was really lackluster. Anyways, that's gonna do it from me. Thanks for watching, gamers. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want, support the channel. This isn't my shirt. It is my shirt, but it's not a merch shirt. Shush. Anyways, we only got like, I think, one more day before the Christmas sweater is gone from the store, which that's this bad boy. If you haven't seen it, it only comes around during like December every year. I end up putting it in the store because, yes, FOMO, I don't care. It's fairly expensive, but it's insanely high quality. Like, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. On top of that, I still haven't ordered one for myself, but I do have hats based on the new logo. I think I've got some hoodies and sweaters and clothes and shirts and stuff as well based on the new logo, but I would have to double check. Managing the store is kind of a headache into itself. But I digress. Have yourselves a wonderful day and a happy new year.